Hey, it's Tony with lidl.doodle. Thanks for stopping by my channel. I am going to talk about inks again today. I feel like I've been talking a lot about inks lately. If there's something about journaling or fountain pens that you'd like to see, just drop it in the comments. I'm happy to do a journaling video. It's been a little while since I've done one, but I've been so immersed in my inks. If you have been around for a little bit, I had taken on the project of swatching all of my inks last, I don't know, maybe the end of summer I started this, early fall, and it was quite an undertaking, but I finally got it done. I have all of my inks except for samples swatched. This was very satisfying. However, what I messed up on was for each color family, I did not leave a few extra spaces in case I got more new inks. So I had to take a bunch out and reorganize. And then I got to the end and I realized there were still some just out of order. And I don't know, that would just kind of push on me. So eventually I'm going to pull them all out again and reorganize, but like leave a few extra spaces. But this has required me to pull out all my inks and be playing with them and organizing, etc. I've also been doing some practice with my ink muddler in an old Hobonichi, which requires me to pull out a handful of inks in a certain color family and play around with those. And the other reason why I have been kind of immersed in inks is just a few new pens that I have needed to pull some inks out, which leads us to our Teal inks. The California Pen Show, one of my main goals was to purchase a pen from a maker that was new to me. And even though I have my regulars that I will always purchase from, I found this couple, Skogsy. Sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly. And I really fell in love with this pen. And so I snagged it. And it is a color that I do not have this bright of a pen. I do have some other teal pens. Look at this Kaweco Ale Sport, which I'm going to show in a minute because of the ink that's in there. Anyway, this just caught my eye and I thought, oh, this is so unique. It's got these little silvery, purpley blue specks in it, and it just sparkles. It's so nice. And she said, oh, well, you're going to have the one with the cactus nib. And I was like, are you kidding me? I love engraved nibs. So this not only is a beautiful pen, it has this adorable little cactus on the nib. So very happy with this purchase. That led me to try to find a great matching ink. This does have an ink in it. I am going to show you which one it is, but I don't think I'm happy with the ink that I put in here. So maybe you can help me decide on a new one. All right. We're going to start with some darker inks that I don't think are contenders for this pen, but the problem is in my Kaweco Ale Sport Iguana, I have a color in here that might be better in here, and so I am thinking about putting the ink that's in here, and I'll tell you which ones. I have to remember which ones they are, and then finding a new ink for this one. So that's why I pulled out the darker ones. All right, so that's just a lot of information that probably doesn't matter that much. The first teal ink, and you know, if they're maybe lean more green, more blue, I was not super discerning. I just kind of went with my gut of what I felt was in the teal family. So this is an Jacques Herbin, and for some reason, way back when I'm still in the Goulet Facebook group. So I don't know why, but it got nicknamed Chicken, or the Chicken ink or something like that. There's like stickers with a chicken on it. I don't know. So we refer to this as Chicken. See, I wrote chicken on the top, probably because the actual name is a mouthful. All right, this ink is wild. It's definitely a favorite. It's a rich, and I did not mark out my swatching areas, you guys. I'm not doing this for science. This is just to have some fun. So I'm just gonna make a little blob here and hope that I give myself enough room for all. I think I have 8 colors total, maybe 7. And this one, it goes down just rich, nice, but when it dries, it has some really pretty sheening to it. This is definitely darker than I want to go with either of these Teal pens, but I also just wanted to share. I mean, it's nice, but I feel like it's a little on the blue side. It's still drying. We'll see. The next ink that I pulled out is a Diamine, whatever year that was, for the ink vent, Velvet Emerald. Let's see, this is a standard ink, so it's not going to have any sparkly shimmer, etc. Even though I oftentimes find that standard inks do have some kind of sheen or shading, not sheen, shading property to them. This, when it dries, is just a nice dark teal, I think. Could potentially be a contender for the Kaweco. We're gonna let them all dry. The next one I have is Bliss, and I barely have any left in this because I had made up a little concoction of Bliss and gold, and I had put it in my Narwhal. I think this is the Miami, and you can just see a little bit, and it's out even in my pen, but I had put some gold shimmer in there for that fantastic pen. It was beautiful. So I'm gonna have to use a little pipette to get us just a couple of drops. I don't even know if I'll be able to have enough for a writing sample. I feel like I'm gonna dump this everywhere, so I'm gonna put some in the cap. That might have been like the last few drops. And now Bliss is a really pretty standard ink again. It's the brightest so far, so even before it dries, you can see that it is showing up a lot brighter than the other two. Now we're kind of moving into the lighter of the inks. This is what I have in the Kaweco here, okay? And this is the one that I'm considering putting in the Skogsy pen. Diamine Spearmint Diva. It's a shimmer, lots of shimmer there. So while I feel like this is the perfect ink for this Kaweco, I'm reconsidering because I don't know, it's gonna dry and we'll hold them up next to it. We'll see. And I mean, in all honesty, I'm not like this, I don't even know what it's called, like particular about matching my inks. I just thought it would make kind of for a fun video, since I had all these inks out anyway, to switch up my color combination for these inks. So this one is in a different pen, so I wouldn't be putting this in either of those pens, but I thought it would be fun to include it in the list. And this is Diamine Mint Twist. This was from the last 2024 ink vent. This was possibly my favorite. I have this in a TWSBI. I'll show you in just a second. It doesn't look as fancy going down here, you guys. It's a chameleon ink, and when it dries, I just really really like this ink. And I have it in my TWSBI 580. This is green. I think this is the color was green. I feel like it's teal. And I have this ink in it. I think this is a medium nib. 2 more to go. Well, 2 more and maybe an honorable mention that's not really teal, but I'll show you why I picked it. This one is Mirror Mirror from Ferris Wheel Press. It is non-shimmer. It's a lovely ink. And I'm actually going to hold on to the bottle the entire time because when I was doing my green ink video, I did not put the lid on properly and I set it down on its back and I lost almost a whole bottle of Moonlit Jade. It's really tragic. So this one, again, just a standard solid teal. Handwriting gets a little bit wonky just because as a lefty I want to do this and turn the paper, but then it's hard for you to see. So the last ink, now this is what I have in my Skogsy pen. I went on a search for the ink that I thought would match this great while we were at the show, and so I picked Ferris Wheel Press Grand Central Skies. Now looking at it, I thought, oh, this is going to be a great match. It's teal, it's got silver, and what I found, I think it might be more green than I want in this pen. And maybe not as blingy, even though it has quite a bit of shimmer in it. If you can see, it just, ooh, it's not a real saturated ink. And I'll do the writing sample with my actual pen to show you because it looks darker, interestingly enough, in the writing sample than just on this swatch. Yeah, see, if I had seen just this swatch, I'd be like, yeah, that's not dark enough at all for me. You can tell that the writing sample looks a lot richer than the swatch, which I just find really interesting. But the shimmer does not stand out in this ink very much. And like I said, I think it might have a little more green than I want. Now I was going through my other inks. So those are all the teals. I was going through my inks and one stood out to me that might be a contender, and here's why. So this is Robert Oster Free Spirit. And if you look, it's got purple shimmer. And you might be thinking, okay, why on earth would she pick that? Well, look at the speckles. If it shows up on camera, they're kind of giving a little purple in there. And the blue in this, I felt like kind of could pass. We'll see. I'm going to see what it looks like on this paper. And once it dries, if I think I should put this in my new pen or if there is a better option in here. Now, obviously, I could put Spearmint Diva in there and keep Spearmint Diva in there. Like, there's no law, right? But I get a little, like, there's just so many inks to try. I don't want to have one ink in multiple pens. I have a couple instances of that. Like, I have a pen that I take to work with me that I have it in the same ink as in a pen that I would never take to work with me. So I'll make exceptions, but. So there are my, what did I end up with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inks. I'm going to let these dry and then I'm going to make some decisions. We are almost all the way dry. A couple of these are being a little stubborn. Let's take a look up close. So there is the Urban ink, and if it's showing up, it's showing in the writing sample on my end here, the sheening. For some reason, maybe I didn't pool enough up here, it didn't really sheen. There's that Diamine Velvet Emerald. Loving this shading here. I just really like it when inks do that. Diamine Bliss, still a little wet in these creases, but you can see the shading that's happening there is just very nice. Spearmint Diva, there's some of the shimmer, some of the shading. Really love that ink. I should show you the writing sample too. There is Mint Twist. Again, one of my favorites. Love the shimmer in that. It's kind of got a purple and then some nice shading there. The Mirror Mirror, tiny bit wet still over here, but you can see the shading there and the writing sample. The Grand Central Skies, it dried really nicely. It's a little bit, you know, it's darker over here where I put more ink down. And then the writing sample, I just feel like does not really match this. It's just a lot darker than you expect, I guess. And then finally, there is that Robert Oster Free Spirit. And the writing sample doesn't show as much of the purple shimmer as the swatch does. But hear me out. If I look at that Robert Oster and the purple shimmer that's kind of coming through, I kind of see a nice match. This is what I have in it right now, which I think is lovely. But again, it just isn't very exciting. Mirror Mirror might be a contender, and even though there's no shimmer in there, and I do love a shimmer in a sparkly pen, I could add some. Mint Twist is not an option. Spearmint Diva, again, I've got this in my Kaweco. Maybe I just have 2 pens with Spearmint Diva, or I swap out and put something different. I think I could see myself putting Ferris Wheel Press Mirror Mirror in here, or Diamine Bliss. These two I feel like might just be a little dark for my taste, but maybe I'll swap it out with that one. We'll see. I'll let you know. All right, if you have any suggestions for other teal inks, put them in the comments. I'd love to hear. If you have any questions, I will try to answer them. Again, this is not scientific. I'm just sharing some ink, and I will put a link to their website or their Instagram, wherever they're most active. I'll take a look. And again, if there is a journaling topic or fountain pen topic that you would be inspired by, let me know, and I will move away from inks for a little bit. If you're still around, thank you, and I hope you have a great day. See you in the next video.